हाय बच्चों। आज हम टाइप्स ऑफ मैट्रिसेस को देखते हैं, ठीक है। व्हाट आर द डिफरेंट टाइप्स ऑफ मैट्रिसेस अवेलेबल। तो पहले कॉलम मैट्रिक्स। तो इसका मतलब क्या है? कॉलम मैट्रिक्स का मतलब क्या है? ओके, सो लेट्स टेक अ मैट्रिक्स लाइक दिस। ओके, तो सिर्फ कॉलम, if the matrix has only the column, then you call that matrix as a column matrix. ठीक है? So then, what is a row matrix? What do you mean by a row matrix? So row matrix, same way. If the matrix A is said to have elements in a row, ठीक है? Only one row is there, then it is called what? A row matrix, right? Okay, so you already know a matrix is always denoted by the order. We say like this, right? R cross C. What is R? R is the row. Or C? C क्या है? C is nothing but the column, right? So column matrix, in column matrix you have, how many columns you have? Only one column. You have just one column, right? And rows, how many rows are there? It can be any number of rows, right? So you can say m cross 1. M cross 1 is generally referred as the column matrix. You can call this m cross 1 as a matrix, column matrix. So what will be here for this one? How many rows are there इसमें? In this matrix में how many rows are there? सिर्फ एक ही row है ना? So 1 by n. You can call it as m or n, anything, or m. Okay? So 1 denotes the number of rows and n denotes the number of columns, right? Yeah? Okay, so next let's take other type of matrix, which is a third type. What do you call it? As a square matrix. So what is a square matrix? So if I have a matrix like 2 1 3 5, meaning the number of rows and number of columns, R and C are equal. R is equal to C. Like in this case, there are 2 rows and 2 columns. So it is 2 cross 2. This matrix is of the order 2 cross 2, or in general n cross n or m cross n, where n and m are equal, right? So you can also have a matrix of order, let's say 3. Let's take 3 by 3. So how it will be? 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9. So this is another matrix B. Let's say this is another matrix, right? So in general you can say this is a matrix. These both of these, A and B, are square matrices of orders. In this case n, if you're taking this as n and this as m, either n cross n or m cross n. If the matrix is of this form, n cross n or m cross n, 2 by 2 or 3 by 3 or 4 by 4 or 1 by 1, then you can call that matrix as what? Square matrix, right? Okay, next. The next type of matrix we are going to see what is called a fourth type, diagonal matrix. So what is a diagonal matrix? A diagonal matrix is any matrix that has the elements only on the diagonal. So rest of the things will be 0, right? Let's take another example. So I have, 0, 0, let's say if it's 1, 0, 5, 0, 0, 0, 6. The elements are only on the diagonal, okay? And the remaining elements other than the diagonal, if they are 0, then it is called a diagonal matrix. Understand? Yeah? Okay. So next one, what is next type of matrix? I'll call it as something scalar matrix. A scalar matrix. So what is a scalar matrix? A scalar matrix is nothing but a diagonal matrix if the elements are equal. Diagonal elements are equal, then you can call them as, so diagonal matrix, let's take a diagonal matrix. So these two elements should be 0, right? Only these two elements. If I take this as 2 and this as 2, yeah, follow kar rahe ho na? Okay. So if these diagonal elements are said to be equal, then that matrix becomes scalar matrix. Yeah. One more example. So I have 3, 0, 0, 0, 3, 0, 0, 0, and 3. Just an any number example. Okay. Just for example, I'm putting as 3. It can be x, 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 or a, or 1, 1, 1, or 2, 2, 2. If the diagonal elements are all equal, then you can call that matrix, diagonal matrix, as scalar matrix. Okay? All right. Next one, next type of matrix is going to be identity matrix. Next one, we call it as identity matrix. So what is an identity matrix? Okay. Identity matrix is nothing but a square matrix. Basically, it should be a square matrix. First criteria, it has to be a square matrix. So what is a square matrix? A square matrix is something of the order 2 by 2 or 3 by 3, right? That is a square matrix. Okay. And if the value of the element, okay, the diagonal values, all the diagonal elements should be 1. Let's take for 2 by 2. Let's take a matrix A is of the order 2 by 2 and the diagonal elements are said to be 1 and 1. So this is a square matrix 2 by 2, the order 2 by 2 where the diagonal elements are 1 by 1. Then you call this as an identity matrix. Okay. Yeah. Why you call it as an identity matrix? Because you multiply this with, A cross A into B, you will be getting 1 into, it's like 1 into B. You will be getting the same thing. Probably we'll look into this later. Whatever the elements of B will be, you will have that. Let's take another example for 3 by 3. Okay. So how it should be? Let's take, for example, 1, 0, 0, 0, 1, 0, 0, 0, and 1. So what is the criteria? It has to be a square matrix. So this is a square matrix of 3 by 3. And all the diagonal elements, notice the diagonal elements are all 1, unity, right? If it is unity, diagonal element has to be 1. Diagonal elements have to be 1. So if you meet these two conditions, then you call that matrix as identity matrix. Okay? You call that matrix as identity matrix. And the last type of matrix. Okay? So far we have seen all, a single matrix, column matrix, row matrix, scalar matrix, diagonal matrix, identity matrix. This is a special matrix. What is the speciality in this one? Okay. So here, if I have the elements, all the elements in the matrix are said to be null or 0, then I call this matrix as zero matrix. Okay, right? 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. So what is this matrix called as? This matrix will be called as a zero matrix. Clear? Yes? Fantastic.